validation, my friends. And all I had to do to get it was to watch every single episode, thereby spending 150 waking hours of my existence here on planet Earth to do it. Was it worth it? Absolutely. Except, yeah, this one comes with a bit of a twist. You see, data can certainly paint you a good picture, just doesn't necessarily mean that it's an accurate picture, because there is a lot of nuance behind those numbers, my friends. See, despite Zuma being called upon in just half the show's missions, I have to give credit where credit's due. While he might be used the least, he's certainly not the least useful. When you look one layer deeper into the data, Zuma isn't the worst pup. There's one who's arguably much worse, one who barely succeeds, one who endangers everyone around him. The bad dog I'm talking about, believe it or not, it's everyone's favorite klutzy Dalmatian, Marshall. Now, you might be thinking that this doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Firefighting's an incredibly important profession, so how could Marshall be the worst? Well, for starters, yeah, Marshall does specialize in putting out fires, which is a very useful skill. Except there are only 11 fires throughout the entirety of the series, meaning that only 2.6% of rescues are fire-related. And honestly, that's even me being generous. 2 of those fires are actually inside of Marshall's dreams. More often than not, Marshall's water cannons are being used to paint Easter eggs, spray tomato juice, or clean up messes. Even crazier is the fact that Marshall has himself an entire second set of equipment, an emergency medical technician's kit to help check for broken bones and injuries. And yet, this too is only used 17 times throughout the series. But worst of all, the thing that cements Marshall into the worst pup position is fire truck's ladder. It is far and away the most used tool in his arsenal, called out for 76 rescues, 20% of the time. The thing that Ryder finds most useful about Marshall is setting up a ladder so people can climb down from high places. But then, Marshall can't use the ladder correctly. It often misfires, or he uses it in a way that results in people getting knocked down in some way, thereby making the rescue situation exponentially worse. In fact, it's gotten to the point where Ryder doesn't actually trust Marshall to do his job correctly. He's even started implementing backup plans for when Marshall eventually fails.
Marshall, I'll need you to raise your ladder so Mayor Goodway can climb down. Chase, you'll set up your net to catch the mayor and Chicoletta, just for backup.
And Ryder is taking action against this worst pup. In the latest season, Marshall's called out only 20 times to help, the fewest of any of the pups and the lowest amount of times in his career. In short, Marshall is being called out to help less and less as the series goes on, and that's because he's a liability, a walking lawsuit. So where then does all this leave Zuma? You know, I called out Chase, Sky, and Rocky because their skill sets are so broad. Well, the one thing that Zuma's historically had going for him is his specialty. He's the water pup. That is his domain. No one else is really equipped for water rescues. You don't see Chase or any of the other pups generating bubble shields so they can